Okay, this is Nick from Borealcraft, and today I'm going to go over with you guys a type of fire building that I use called the lever fire. So what we have here is we have a bit of birch bark for tinder, and then we have a flat dry surface. Normally you just use like a rock or something like a dried piece of bark from an old tree. And then you're going to want to get a thicker piece of wood that maybe has a bit of curve on it to rest on top of your rock, and that's the lever. And you'll see what that does later. And then for our wood, we have it sectioned up into like really thin pencilish lead type size, and then kind of about the same size but a bit more, so you can go kind of pencil thin for that. And then finger thin and above. Those are three different types that'll help you build a gradual fire, and it'll stay constant. And to start the fire today, we use ferro rod and some cotton balls. Now we're going to light the fire. Then once you get your birch bark going about halfway, you'll put your thinnest on perpendicular to your lever. And what the lever does is if you see spark starts to come out, it may be windy right now, but if your fire is getting low on oxygen, you can lift it up and then it feeds the fire more. So we'll let that go. It's really windy out here in the open, so it's blowing into my feet and at the cameraman. So then next you would put down next stuff across on top of that. My fire's still all the way there. And then you can kind of draw it in. You can adjust the size of it there. And then the fire starts to calm down and get straight as the wind stops being mean to filming. And you wouldn't want to put it all on one by one because that would just take too much time. You'd lose your window, so you'd bundle it up beforehand. And then what you can do is you can just, once you have that kind of thing going, once you get to the bigger stuff, you can put that on just by like twos. Across it a bit. And let that gradually burn up. And then once it gets low on oxygen, lift it up. And then that makes the fire bigger. So probably work better if you had a wind guard on days like this. But then again, it does feed your fire quite well with oxygen. As you can see, my base is a bit off from where the fire is. That's just if the ground is wet, which it kind of is right now because we're still in spring melt. You would want a completely dry and flat surface because it's easier to work with to start your fire, because you don't want, whether it takes you more than one try with fire steel or your matches don't work, you don't want your tinder getting wet before you can actually start your fire, because then that's just not going to work good for you at all. And then when you're once you got a consistent flame going, you can build it up to a teepee or build it up to whatever shape you want, like a crossway, or keep going with the crossing, or you can build it up as a house. Got some wood in my mouth. But you can just do whatever you want, but it's just a really good way to regulate the amount of oxygen that goes in your fire, which is really neat. I like that idea. It's the one I use most often when I'm out in the woods. So that is the lever fire. We are Borealcraft, and we'll see you next time with some more fire videos and other fun stuff in the woods.